All
Okay.
right. Okay. Marty, I'll kick it off. So we are recording today's event. I want to thank you for joining us at our 30-minute QuikInform webinar, What is New in Power BI and Why Should I Care? So if we can go to the next slide, please. Marty? Okay,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that.
Um, okay, you've got the deck. So today's webinar is being recorded. So we will have the audience muted. If you have questions, you can indicate that in the chat window, and I'll be monitoring that as we present. If you're having trouble with the audio, then you're probably not hearing me, but at least you can see the screen and see the dial-in number as well as the access code for today's webinar. So we'll leave that on for a moment and then move on to the next screen. And again, you can IM if you have any questions. So in terms of the why should I care theme, as Marty will talk about Power BI in a moment, but I'll talk about QTS. I think the folks that are on here know us or know of us, but we are a Microsoft Gold partner with a number of competencies, including data center, cloud platform, and cloud productivity. We have a number of silver competencies, and we are a locally managed partner, which means we work closely with the local office, have access to funding, programs, etc., and just celebrated our 25-year anniversary this past Monday. So we've been serving businesses of all types and sizes in the New York metro area for over 25 years. We've won a number of Regional Partner of the Year awards over the last few years, as well as runner-up in 2012 for the entire United States. And just a very strong practice with subject matter expertise. We're looking to share information collaboratively with our customers. So our approach, and I'll talk about this at the end, is to help customers build solutions for their problems and then transfer the knowledge internally for customers that want that to be able to internalize support, or we can provide managed services and support for organizations that want that level of help as well. So moving right along to the next slide, and I think I'm going to be turning it over to Marty Triunfo, who is our practice lead for productivity and collaboration here at QTS. Marty is going to inform us about what is Microsoft Power BI, why should we care, and what is new in the technology, since as a cloud solution from Microsoft, it is ever evolving. So that being said, I will turn it over to Marty, and I'll rejoin you at the end of today's session.
Thank you, Neil, and good afternoon, everyone. As Neil said, my name is Marty Triunfo. I'm the collaboration practice lead here at QTS, responsible for a number of the collaboration services and platforms available in Office 365 from Microsoft, and Power BI is one of the newer and more exciting areas that we're getting involved in. So Power BI, what I'm going to do today is a little bit of an overview, since some people may not be familiar with Power BI. It is included in any of your enterprise Office 365 subscriptions. You'll get Power BI. There's both a free version and a paid version, of what they call Pro, which can enhance some of the features and usability if you go to the paid version. But every subscription comes with the free version of Power BI, and it's a Power BI is a cloud-based analytics service that enables companies to visualize and analyze data with speed, efficiency, and understanding. And you think about how you might be doing it today, where you have a small team of folks that are gathering up data from your different line of business systems, or maybe even downloading from cloud systems, and then they aggregate that, they do some analysis, and then often reports are emailed around in either Excel files or as just charts that are sent around. Perhaps you're posting them on an intranet site, like a SharePoint site, which would be great. Power BI gives you a cloud-based service that's accessible anytime, anywhere, where the data can be not only published there, but also you use their analytics engine to help you look at the data and then create meaningful visuals. So this just showing you a sample screen in a Power BI dashboard. Live Power BI dashboards can show visualizations and KPIs, or key performance indicators, from data that resides both on-premise. We do that using a variety of methods that can pull the data into Power BI from an on-premise system, or from cloud systems, and you can combine those together and then assemble them into one view, one dashboard or set of dashboards that are then visible to your users. One of the nice things about Power BI is all of the reports, everything you'll see today in my brief demo are available on multiple devices. So whether you have a Windows desktop or an iPhone or an Android phone or a Windows smartphone, you can get all of the content delivered to you, and it's all in HTML5, so it's responsive, meaning it'll just resize itself as needed to fit the device that you're on. Another nice feature, in addition to the visuals that come with the Power BI, it has a natural language query component, and I'll give you a quick demo of that later, where it will have looked at the data that you're publishing, that it's analyzed and then published, and then provide some natural language capability for users to ask questions, and it then builds visuals on the fly. As I mentioned earlier, many companies, they use Excel for their analytics work, and this is the kind of usually the easiest jumping off point for an organization that wants to start using Power BI. They probably have existing Excel data or data that's being brought in to Excel from another system, and then rather than analyze it in Excel, you can use Power BI, and that's the brief demo I'll give you later, where we'll start out with Excel and then create some visuals and then publish it up to Power BI. And this is a key part here. The content packs, Power BI started out with a handful of data sources that could be accessed from the Power BI cloud service. And you'll see here there's more than just a handful, and that section that's marked coming soon in the lower right part of the screen, all of those are now fulfilled. Most of them came in during 2016. This is a little bit of an outdated slide. And so if you're using any of these online services and platforms, you have an existing content pack in Power BI that can, it's a connector to that data, and it will then bring in the data, and it knows about the model, the data model. So you'll get kind of hit the ground running with your analysis if you're using any one of those services. I'll give you a short demo of that too. And Power BI desktop. So the Power BI is broken into the cloud service, and that's, as I said, when you are an Office 365 subscriber, you get the Power BI cloud service, which is available to your licensed Office 365 users, and it's accessible through a web browser. And you can do some analysis and create visuals and reports there. But you also have something called Power BI Desktop, which lets more of like a power user developer type person work locally on their desktop using a rich client to do the analysis, create the visuals, and then publish those up to the Power BI service so that they can then be consumed by the user. So you don't have to do the development and the analysis in a browser. You can do it in the Power BI desktop. And Power BI desktop is a free download from Microsoft. You download it, and they update it a couple of times a year. It's got some new features that just recently came out as recently as March. Before I jump into the demo, just a quick highlight of some new features. So to try and some of you that may be familiar with Power BI, you want to know what's new. I reviewed the dozens of features that were added during 2016 and decided just to highlight a few here, and I'll try and show you some of these in my demo. I broke them out into some areas. So analytics, there's some new features, capabilities around being able to see data and export data. So if a user comes to a dashboard that you've created showing some visuals, they can click on the visuals and then choose to export some of the data. Of course, they're going to need permissions to do that. They needed the proper credentials to get to your dashboard to begin with, but they can now export data. You can make that available, so if they want to pull some data out that was used in creating the visual, they can do that and do further analysis on it. Also, they've added trend lines and forecasting, so the analytics engine will be able to overlay some visuals onto what you create and provide trend lines, average lines, and even some forecasting. Clustering, which was it's an extension of, just think of a scatter chart and the ability for it to identify clusters of data, and then it renders that visually. Also, R integration. So in spirit of full disclosure, I really don't know a whole lot about R scripting. I don't use it, but it is it's a scripting tool used by data scientists, and Power BI now supports that. So you can create R scripts and run those against your Power BI, the data that's brought into Power BI to produce again different visuals. With respect to the visuals themselves, which are a key part of the reports you create, the support now for background images on dashboards, predefined table styles, being able to format columns based upon the data that's in there, and then snap to grid, which is helpful for when you'll see when I'm doing the demo, the canvas can be kind of freeform, and having the ability to snap the different objects to grid is helpful. Slicers and filters. So often when you're looking at data, you want to be able to kind of reorganize it in certain ways to get a different perspective on the data. So you want the ability to say, for example, to show only a date range, or to show a particular product type or a set of products, and kind of reduce to a subset. So the slicers and filters will allow you to do that, and there's different types of those that are available, and they've added some of the new ones are search. So you can, most of the slicers now, instead of having to scroll through a long list, you can now search for, say for example, product names, and I'll give you a demo of that. Date slicer, they've got a nice scrolling date slicer that allows you to narrow or widen the range of dates. And the drop-down slicer, which is helpful in keeping your screen real estate preserved, because if you have a long list of saved products, you may not want to devote a big area of your canvas to that list of products, or locations or regions or business units, whatever it might be. So the drop-down allows you to have a nice kind of compact area to present that to the user and let them choose. And in terms of additions to security, you now have the ability to have row-level security for all of your visualizations. So you might want to create, say, you're doing sales analysis, and you want you're bringing in all the data, thousands of rows, but you want someone who's got a role of sales manager to be able to see a greater amount of the data than someone who's just a sales associate. So you can create roles in your reports, and then you can apply role level security so that users only see what you want them to see. So this is in addition to standard permissions. You can also attach some security around a role assigned to each data point. And some, as I mentioned earlier, some really new things for 2016 in terms of data sources. So you see I've listed a few. There were actually over 20 new data sources added for 2016, and you see I've just highlighted a few of them there. You'll see them also when I go into the demo. I'm going to show you how you would select from your data source and get a content pack. In addition, on the right, there's now support for direct query against these data sources here, Oracle, Teradata, Amazon Redshift. And direct query can be useful in that it allows users to see updates in real time. Without direct query, typically what you do is you bring in the data, you import it into Power BI, and then you refresh it on a schedule, either manually or on a fixed schedule, like once per day, once per week, whatever it might be. But direct query allows you to have real-time updates occur. Okay, so let me jump into a quick demo, Power BI, and try and show you a couple of new features. Just bear with me a second while I get my screen set up. Okay, you should be able to see I have open web browser, and I'm connected to the Power BI cloud service. I'm not using Power BI desktop. I'm actually in web browser. And on the left-hand side, my navigation here, you can see I've got different different sections. I've got dashboards, I've got reports, I've got data sets, and in the middle I've got a canvas, which is blank right now. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to have some of the kind of properties and controls that I need to build my reports. So the first thing I just want to show you is with the get data. This is the way you would identify what data you want to analyze and publish reports about. So when you do get data, you get content pack libraries, which is broken out into my organization, and services, meaning cloud services, publicly available services. Or do I want to connect to a database or bring in data that's in a file, for example, an Excel file, like I'm going to show you. But if we go to the services, you can just click on that, and you'll see some of these services that I mentioned earlier that were added through 2016. So the benefit of these is you choose which one you're going to connect to. Say it's something that's being used by your organization already, and you choose that. You then log in using the credentials you would use for that service, and the connector knows the data model. It knows what it needs to bring in, and in some cases you'll even get some kind of there are files available that'll give you a head start on creating some of the visuals. You would use those with Power BI Desktop, but I mention it because they can give you a real, again, a head start on creating the visuals and publishing the data. But you can see here we got quite a few cloud services that are now available for Power BI to just connect directly to them and then be able to get started analyzing and presenting the reports. Just scroll down through a few more of those. One of the ones that was added for 2016 was the Office 365 and Azure, a number of different services in there. So if you want to manage your resources, for example, in Azure, where you might have a number of virtual machines and other types of services that you want to manage, you can use Power BI to do so. They now have a content pack for Azure. All right, I'm just going to close that. Just wanted to show that to you. So what I'm going to do very quickly, we're supposed to only go till, I think, 1:30, but I may extend a little beyond that. I will click on Files. I'm going to just quickly show you we're using an Excel file because that's going to be the most familiar, I think, to most people. So I'm going to click on Files here, and all I'm going to be doing is bringing in a simple file that has just 3 columns, and you'll get to see that in a moment. Here we are. So I've got a file here called revenue versus target. I'm going to open that up. And I'm going to choose import. Okay, so here I am on the left-hand side. You can see I've got revenue versus target as a data set, and what it did was it brought in let's see, there's just sales data, and I've got 5 available columns to choose from. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly jump in there and show you what that looks like. So let me just first bring in date, revenue, and target. Okay, so the first thing, just to show you kind of what it looks like, that's my data right there. It's just those columns that I've just brought in. All right, and so let's just start to, from that simple little table there, let's just build a couple of visuals in Power BI. So I can just click anywhere on my canvas, and I'm going to choose target, and I'm going to choose date. Let's make that a little bigger. And there you can quickly see that Power BI has given me a nice little chart here already as a bar chart. If I want to change that visual, I just click on the visuals here, and I can change them right in this little palette of visuals. So that could be my first visual. I'm then going to choose another one. Let's click anywhere in the canvas here. Select revenue and date. And it looks a little similar, so it's actually different, but we're going to make that into a line chart. Okay, so here you can see here we're looking at our target versus date, and now here's our revenue versus date. And then I'm going to make one more visual. I'm going to click out here, and let's do revenue and target. All right, and you can see that that's a again a bar chart. We're going to change that. Let's make that a gauge. So what we want to do here is we want to actually show what our target, that's our revenue there. We want to show our target on that as well. So I'm going to go modify, let's just see here if I can read this. I'm going to take our target. There we are. And what I've just done is you can see this control here. Each visual, when you're clicking on a particular visual, you get certain control fields. And here what I did was I added target into the property known as target value. So what that's just done is it has represented that the target goal was 93 million, and we actually hit 108 million. So now that I've got some basic visuals on the report here, let's just show you a little bit about how it's kind of hooked together. So I can click on, for example, September, this date here, and you'll notice that my other charts change, all the other visuals change. So if I click on it again, let's put that back. So I'm seeing all of my rows in my data table. I see the full timeline here, and that's my full revenue. If I click on again November, now I've just focused in the November record is shown here, and my revenue versus target gauge has changed as well. And if I click on one at a time, you'll see that kind of change there. So the Power BI Canvas kind of does all that, the connections in the data model for you to make those work. And you can manually adjust them as well. So I do actually have a, so we've just created this. So what I can do now is I can, see if I can pin this to show you what that looks like. I'm going to save this report. And now, now that I've got the report, I can actually pin these visuals to a dashboard. And you can see I've got up here, I've got a collection of dashboards. I actually have one built already. Let's go look at that one. This is essentially the same report. It's a little bit slightly different layout, but I've already pinned this to a dashboard. And this is what your users would be presented with as the dashboard. They can also see the reports, but typically you would share the dashboard with users. Let me just go back to that dashboard again. And so what I wanted to show you here was I'll begin showing you a couple of the new features. Well, let me first start with ask a question. So here's the at the top of every dashboard, you're going to see this the natural language field here. So even though users they can just simply click on the data to see it change. They can ask a question. So let's try one here. So how about if I just start typing? You notice it's got some. These are basically like the columns. It will show these to you so you can get a sense of what you might be able to ask for. So let's just say, show me sum of revenue. And there's my answer right there. So it creates a visual on the fly for me. Let's go back and we'll do another one. We'll do revenue by month. All right, so now I've got a new graphic. This is a horizontal bar chart. And if I wanted to, let's click on that again. I can expose the visuals, and I can change that. Right. So maybe the user would rather see it laid out in some other format. So the user has some ability here themselves, even though they're not going to be able to save this as a report like you did as kind of the developer of the report. They do have some controls around how they want to see that presented. Do it as a filled map. Go back there. Let's type in another query here. Revenue versus target versus month. Okay, so that built a scatter plot, not very easy to read. Let's just change that, and we'll do a yeah, we'll do it to a bar chart. That works. A line chart might look nice too. So here you see revenue is in blue or the green. The target was in black. And let's just change that to a bar. That could be an easier way to represent it. But just the point being made that the users have the ability to do some natural language query, as well as just use the fixed visuals that you created for them, which you see right here. One of the new features that was added during 2016 was this. This is a slicer here. I've added a date slicer. So right now I'm looking at all of the data in my data set, but I can choose to narrow it down, and you'll see that all the visuals will update. So here I'm just going to go for let's just do we'll do 2 months. Oh, it's 1 month. So there I've just got a couple of months of data. So the user has some control with this new time or date slicer. And again, all the visuals update. All right, let me jump over to, I've got another report set up here. Okay, so this is just one that I didn't create this. It was made available from Microsoft, and it just happens to contain a few of the features in it that I just wanted to highlight. So you can see that I also have a date slicer here. In this visual, there's a trend and forecasting line. I'm sorry, not forecasting, an average line. So you can see the trend there is the darker line. So the trending and the averages were added during 2016. Also, here we have a scatter plot that has clustering turned on. So I can click on any one of the data points here, and I can see my scatter plot change and reflect the colors represent the different clusters. We've got, in this case, there's 3 clusters shown, but if I click on that, you're going to see, I think there's 5 clusters altogether. And if I click on that, I'm going to try and show you where the clusters are configured. Or maybe I can't do that here. I apologize for that. I'm going to go over to another page here. So a few more of the new features that were added. Here's this is a slicer, right? It's going to be a filter on what you're going to see. And notice that there's quite a long list here. So we could have represented this as a drop-down, so it would not take up all this room, and I could just have a single drop-down line that the person could then choose. But I know, and that was new for a recently added feature. But also, you've got the ability to search. So I might put in HOM home, and now I just see the 2 subcategory areas that are for home. Let's go down and find some down at the bottom there. All right, so we'll go back up, and we'll just type MO, and I see monitors and movies. So searching through your slicers, so searchable slicers, in addition to drop-down slicers, a nice, a feature to have if you want to use less screen real estate for your for the slicers. Here also in this section below, let me just clear this out. So here's a formatted column. That was it's a new feature that was added, the ability to do some color coding around the data being presented in a particular column, and you can color the different rows. If we come over to the right-hand side, this here is the gray and the black at the end here. This is part of the new forecasting feature. So this is not real data, but it is forecasting based upon the existing data in the data set. That was a new feature added as well. Okay, just come back here. Well, with that, I'm going to conclude the demo portion. Again, I just tried to give you a little overview of Power BI, and then a quick look at some of the features that have been added. The Power BI team is very active at Microsoft. They have a Power BI blog that each month they publish what they're working on, plus new features that are being released for the month. And the nice thing about a cloud service is that these features are slipstreamed in and become available. Usually they're in preview first, and then they become available without having to do any additional downloads or any sort. Although if you use desktop, then you do have to periodically download that. But all of the cloud service features are just slipstreamed right in. So I would encourage you to go to PowerBI.com. If you want to, even if you're not an Office 365 user, you can sign up for a free demo. But if you are an O365 user, you should definitely look at your launcher and go to Power BI and take a look at what you might use in the Power BI service. And with that, I think I'll turn it back over to Neil. And again, thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Marty, and we'll open up for questions at the end of the session. I just want to take everyone through a little bit of a wrap-up and explain how we can help you around Power BI if you see business value in what we're talking about. So, Marty, if you can take me to the next slide. As a Microsoft Gold and locally managed partner, we tend to follow Microsoft best practices and methodologies. One of those methodologies is what's called the Microsoft Solutions Framework, or MSF. It's a 5-stage process for moving through deployment of technology, similar to the Microsoft Operations Framework, which is a methodology for supporting deployed technologies. So the first stage of MSF is envisioning. What is it we want to do? What do we want to accomplish? That's followed by planning. What's the plan to achieve that vision? Then you develop the solution based on the plan, stabilize or test the solution, and then deploy it out to users in production. So those 5 stages are the life cycle of deploying a technology. We have 3 different ways to approach these types of projects. One way is what we call quick design, and that's our brand for a service where we do envisioning and planning with our customers. And we often do that for enterprise agreement Microsoft customers using planning services vouchers from your enterprise agreement. But if you don't have one, we can still do this with you. And this is very important because this is not unlike a software development effort. Even though it's very agile and friendly, you've got to make sure you've identified the different data sources that you want to work with, build the bridge to that data, either from scratch or using existing connectors and so on, and make sure that the way that users want to analyze the data is accounted for in the structures. And this also depends whether it's on-premise data or whether it's cloud data that maybe already has pre-built interfaces to it. So the design is critical in a successful project, whether it's just a design project or the beginning of the full cycle. From the development standpoint, we often address that within a project, but we also will sometimes just stand up a pilot or a proof of concept environment to help the customer understand the technology and get comfortable with it, either with demo data or a limited use case. And we call those a quick start, where it's a packaged engagement of defined scope and defined objectives to get the technology deployed with knowledge transfer in a limited fashion to allow you to then determine what you want to do with it. Or if you want to look at it as a full project end-to-end, that's what we call quick deploy, and we take you through all 5 stages of the process. So Marty, if you can move to the next slide, please. So we actually have a packaged offering we call Quick Start for Power BI, and I'll send information to you on follow-up on that, or please reach out to me if you'd like to discuss it. And that's essentially a packaged engagement where we, in 3 days, 5 days, or 7 days, complete a specific scope of engagement. There's add-on services if you want to connect to on-premise data, or if you want to have an on-premise SharePoint environment tied into it. Or we can do design level work using planning vouchers and do a quick design for Power BI. So we do have a structured engagement for this that's a logical follow-up to today's session. Next slide, please. And so call to action is we're happy to speak with you or meet with you to go over roadmap and strategy around this technology as well as others from Microsoft. If you have planning services, we can create SharePoint planning services vouchers and use them toward this engagement with Power BI. Or you can do a quick start, and for attendees of today's webinar, we offer a 10% discount on our quick start for Power BI if you commit to that service and sign off within 30 days of today, which is April 5th of 2017. So those are potential calls to action. We'd love to discuss how we can help you with this technology. We also have several seminars coming up. Tomorrow, actually, at the Microsoft New York office, getting the most out of Office 365. And then we have some additional seminars late April, early May on Azure at the Microsoft New Jersey and New York offices. And we have a bit of a break in our webinar schedule, but we'll be picking back up in May with webinars every other Wednesday as per our normal routine. So follow us on Twitter and on LinkedIn to stay up to date on events we're doing. We record all our webinars and put them on our YouTube channel, QTS NJ. Search for QTS and NJ under YouTube and you'll see our logo. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you at our QuikInVision conference this fall at Microsoft New York. So a lot of stuff to take in, but I hope you found value in today's event and Marty's demonstration and discussion. And we look forward to engaging with you to help you achieve your business goals around Power BI and the Microsoft platform in general. So with that, we'll wrap up. We'll stop the recording, and I'll try to unmute everyone for any questions. Thank you.